Hello and welcome to episode 329 of the video show. Welcome along. Today we're going to be talking about online events and how online events will continue post-pandemic. But before we get onto all of that, we are live on LinkedIn, YouTube and Facebook. Please remember to subscribe, like and share this video. You can also watch old episodes of the video show on redbookproductions.co.uk/the-video-show. And you can also listen to this, the video show on Spotify as well. So don't forget, if you don't want to watch the video, if you don't want to see this face, you can always listen to my lovely voice as well. So that's something to look forward to. So as I said, today we are talking about online events and if or how they will continue post-pandemic. So I'd love to hear your thoughts about whether you've been to an online event over the past year. If you've hosted an online event over the past year, do you think you'll continue to host or continue to attend these events? And would you expect an online element to a real life event in real life once these events can continue? Because I wasn't really aware of like many online events, on real life events having an online element to them before. But we've got a guest today on the show who I'm very excited to talk about, who has worked towards that, and he thinks that this is going to be a real possibility. So my thoughts on these type of events are, online events over the past year have been a great replacement for real life events. I think they may continue. It might be an option to continue like these online events, but if things sort of slowly come back to normal and you can go to real life events, I don't think people will choose that over going to if there's an option to go to a real life event. There's still an option to do stuff like meetings online, and I think the way that we record guests on live shows and stuff like that, there's no real need for them to come in here. I think I can advise them on what to do quite easily. I think there's probably a chance that I'll be shooting stuff over the internet as well, like shooting stuff through StreamYard, stuff like that, without having to visit them. For quick and easy videos, it's very easy just to sort of jump on a webcam, jump on a phone and record stuff through software like this, where I don't need to travel all over the country, or in some cases all over the world, to shoot these kind of videos, when all you need is a quick, simple, easy video. Just shoot it and then edit it. It's quite easy to do that. So I think in some ways my way of working has definitely changed, but in terms of online events, I'm not sure whether online events will remain as a thing, or whether it will sort of become online event. There's an online aspect to a real life event. So let me know what you think. I'd be interested to know what you think, like whether these will continue post pandemic, if we eventually get there. But today's guest, I put this post out a few days ago about whether online events would continue, and Chris Goodchild from Magic Mirrors, who's been before the pandemic, he went around to various weddings and events, and he'd be that guy in the corner with the photo booth, which you've seen probably if you've been to any wedding in the past 5 years. There's always been a photo booth there. That was what he did. But obviously with lockdown and everything like that, weddings weren't really on, and you couldn't really have a photo booth if you didn't really have a wedding. So he changed what he did. He created this online product that I think is a really cool product. I'll show you some examples after this, after his interview. But he put together like this package where, as an online event, you could have like selfies, and he'd create this collage of people that had been at the event and sort of put it all into a logo, so it looked really fantastic. And he was talking to me about hybrid events, and this is something I didn't really know much about. So I thought, let's get him onto the video show, let's talk to him and see what he says, and see if that changes my mind about where these kind of events are going to go. So let's play that interview now. He didn't have much time this week because he's very, very, very busy, but I managed to grab him for 15 minutes where I could ask him about what hybrid events were. So let's play that interview now. Okay, so we were like, the show is about online events and whether they can continue into like post-pandemic. And you spoke to me on LinkedIn and on Facebook actually about hybrid events. So tell me a little bit, what is a hybrid event?
So essentially a hybrid event is a conference, a seminar. It's a combination of a live in-person event combined with the virtual event. So a lot of people at the moment are absolutely all over virtual, like they should be, and we've done a lot of conferences, etc. But now the new word, other than pivot, is hybrid. So what we're going to do is go into the world of hybrid, which is absolutely right, and I think it is, for me, predicting the future. It's going to get us to the world of AI a lot quicker as well, because artificial intelligence is still a little bit of an area that people are unsure of, and there's a lot of development going on there. But having something that's coming in the middle, which is essentially a hybrid event, will then help that industry, I believe, anyway, personally. A good example of a hybrid event would be a car manufacturing business is looking to do an event, but obviously because of lockdown, they have been working in the world of virtual, and the go-to places are Instagram, socials, Facebook. Everyone's doing it, right? So it's absolutely getting crowded, which it will, and it does. But what a hybrid event will do or offer is the ability to offer choice to people. So as a business, you get to have an event showcasing a car, but you also get the hybrid element, bringing in customer experiences through using apps, etc. Obviously, we do our virtual photo booth and memory mosaics, and we are evolving that, and we are talking to digital agencies. And an example would be social media influencers. They have a huge following, and they can earn £75,000 a day. It's insane, I know, right? And they waste it. But what they're doing is they're leveraging their exposure by talking to companies who put on hybrid events, because they can essentially get a free car. So what happens is the social media influencer will get a key through the door. They have to scan the key. It will then upload an app. The app will be interactive and say things like, tell us about performance, the look, the feel, and it's an experience for the influencer, but also the influencer is sharing this data virtually with their audience. And they're saying, I need you all to take a photo of your car, or I need you to take a photo of the best car. Go and stand next to someone else's that's not yours, right? Have a bit of fun with it. If there's 3 influencers in this, if the influencer fills up the memory mosaic, which is the thing that I'll probably give you a sample of to flash up for people to see. The first one to fill the memory mosaic wins the car. So the interaction from the influencer is there instantly, because they're going to get a new car. From the audience, they want to see what this influencer is doing. And for the car company, let's say, they're going to get superb exposure. How that transitions to the hybrid from virtual is they've got to pick their car up, right? They've got to do something physical. So they have a big event and launch the car. So it brings in 2 elements, and it offers so much more exposure to everyone involved and creates a great experience. And that's what people are looking for. They're looking for an experience now. Generally, they want to just get out and have an experience, which we will, but they will also be so accustomed to Zoom, the virtual world, that anyone that doesn't have a virtual strategy or is thinking about one will lose.
So you're kind of opening up your event to the wider world by having like an online element to it as well. So you're making the event bigger, essentially. Is that what you're saying?
100%. I've reached my clients worldwide, which I never would have before. I'm talking to people in Dubai. It's insane. It's amazing, but it's great. And the opportunities that are coming from this, are brilliant. You know, it's just stuff that it's more exciting for the brands. It's more exciting for us as businesses to work with the brands because we've got things that people want now. Everyone wants a photo booth. Everyone loves a magic mirror, you know, and that's why our franchise does so well. But now, luckily for us, we've pivoted. We can now offer this online. It's just making it more exciting for, I guess, people to deal with us and us to deal with people. So, yeah.
What was that initial process like of going from like normal events to online events?
Scary, because you know what? I love people. I love engaging. I love being around a fun atmosphere. And then when someone tells me I can't do that, that doesn't sit well. So when on so many levels, financially, mental health, everything. So I'm not going to sit still and let that beat me. And I did a lot of R&D and just worked out a way that people were saying you should go online. And I was like, how do you do that? It's just a selfie. I don't get it. Like, you've got to be more than that. Otherwise, you're literally taking a selfie with a filter. But yeah, so we spent months researching and coming up with our digital solutions because they are interactive. They do offer our clients the ability to capture data, you know, and it also brings a fun element to it. So for me now, you know, we had one of our best months ever in lockdown in my shed. It's insane. But I was doing 4 events virtually all over the world. 3 laptops, phone. It was great, right? And we were engaging online with these clients that were just this virtual photo booth. You've had, you know, you've seen it firsthand, right? It's fun and it's something different, and it also has a value, which is great for everyone. So it ticks all the boxes in my opinion. Okay.
So I've got a feeling I know what you're going to say, but over the past 12 months, I feel that I've learned so much more than I had done in the previous 5 years, like in respect to how I run the business. So I think for the previous 5 years, I was doing the same thing again and again and again. But in the past year, I've really had to push myself to do something different just to maintain things and to keep the business going. Would you sort of agree with that?
100% agree. You know, it's the survival of the fittest, I would say as well. The people that don't pivot or are just sitting and waiting. Some people can't help it, and I do feel sorry for those guys, right? But for us and for me, I had to move a lot quicker because there was things that we, you know, we're great at what we do, and we have a formula, and that's why we're the franchise that we are, right? People follow the formula and they do really well, and everyone's happy. But it can be easy to get consistent, and through lockdown, we now have an online booking system, which we never had before. You know, we didn't need to. The way that we work is not so much online. Wasn't anyway. It was all absolutely referrals or meeting people at events, etc., etc. But now we have fast forwarded to the virtual world, online booking. People can Zoom call us for consultations. That's been amazing. You know, I know people are sick of Zoom calls, but for me, I love it. I would rather have a Zoom call like this than write an email. It's just who I am, right? So for us and our clients and who we speak to as well, they buy into the people who are going to be at their special day or their events, etc. So they can get a real feel for us as a business and as the people that are going to turn up on the day. So normally we wouldn't have to do that because we would just go to wedding fairs or places like that or just get referrals, right? So it has fast forwarded it, and it's also made our franchise even better because it wasn't something that was on my radar, right? We just had a great product and we were franchising it. But now we've got, if we can say, if there's a lockdown, you can earn just as much, even not more, virtually. So for a business that's growing, as you know we are, then yeah, it's great. And I guess the short answer is yes.
cool. Yeah, you touched on like using Zoom there as well, and I think like before the pandemic, if I was going to have you on the video show, it probably would have been an invite to you. You'd have come into the studio here. You'd have taken a lot of time out of your day, and really, this conversation is taking part over like 15 minutes via a Zoom call. So having stuff like that and realizing you can use stuff like that, and then putting it into like the show that this is going to be in as it goes out live, it's a totally different process because of the pandemic, because of how we've both sort of changed how we work and how we think. So I'm really interested to see like not only where events go, but where just sort of business in general goes after the pandemic. So seeing what hybrid events come up, seeing if online events remain a thing as well, and just seeing how they sort of become one thing, I think it's gonna be really, really interesting.
Yeah, there's so much more that's going to come from it. You know, there's so many positives that are going to come from this, 100%. And it has just speeded the process up. You're absolutely right. You know, we can do 5 or 6 deals, you know, in an hour, rather than I've got 2 meetings today. You know, it just seems so archaic, really. But that's where we were. We thought, you know, with digital and iPhones and selfies and Zoom, you know, but now I'm very excited, and I'm happy to be on the show. I've watched it a lot. It's awesome. Thought you're great, and I've seen you grow as well. And from the day that you know you were testing your mics and then the lighting, and like, mate, look at it now. It's so on point. It's class. Yeah, but that's in my opinion, that's a business that is absolutely embracing the moment. Not, I'm going to turn off the lights and I'll turn them back on. Right, that was odd for a year, so I'm doing back what I'm doing again. Like people are going to do that, but they're the people that will fail, I believe. Well, they won't go anywhere. They will just do what they do.
Yeah,
you know, fair play. But for yourself, I think congratulations on what you're doing as well.
Yeah, it's been hard work, but it's enjoyable and it's rewarding as well.
Yeah,
I'm sure you feel the same. Like to see where you've come from in the past year has been great. It's just, yeah, it's really cool. So, firstly, I'd just like to say thank you to Chris for coming on, giving me a bit of his time yesterday to come onto the show. It's really interesting to see like how far Chris has come over the past year, from going just basically being the photo booths at weddings and events, and totally having to change his business to sort of suit what was going on during lockdown. So having this product where it was a virtual photo booth at events, it really does help add something to online events. It helps people stay engaged in what they're doing. It helps people all feel like they're part of the same event rather than just sort of watching a live video. So by having that aspect, it really does help people just stay involved and keep attention and feel like it's an actual event rather than just like any old video that they're watching. So yeah, Chris has gone from that. He's brought on a franchisee a few months ago, and he's really going from strength to strength. So to hear him talk about how events are going to change in the future in terms of hybrid events, it's really, really interesting. I'm really excited to see where it goes. We had a comment as well from Leslie Jarrett who said, I agree to keep going. I've had to learn new skills and change how we run our business over the past year. Yeah, as I was saying to Chris, over the past year, I think I've learned more in the past 12 months than I have in the previous 5, just because the previous 5, it was kind of like the same thing again and again and again. But this year, you've really had to push yourself, really had to change how things work. And I think that will continue as well, going into new events as the pandemic hopefully sort of starts coming to an end. There'll be a mixture of what an online event is and what a real life event is, and kind of what's going to happen in the future. That will kind of be sped up because of what's happened in the pandemic. That's what Chris was saying, and I think that's a really good point. There'll be more sort of a push between an online element to a real life event, and I'm really excited to see where that goes. So let me know in the comments. There we go. Ed Pennell said as well, those who don't adapt will get left behind. Well done, Chris. Chris is bang on right as well there. So yeah, if you've got any other questions in terms of online events, if you host an online event or attended an online event. Let me know what you thought of it and whether these will continue post-pandemic. I think it's a really interesting subject. And would you continue to host online events post-pandemic, or would you introduce an online element to your events once this is all over? So that's it for episode 300. Oh, press the wrong button. There we go. So that's it for episode 329. Totally thrown me at the end there. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you've got any other questions about video that you want me to answer in a future episode, post it in the comments below. I'll be very, very happy to answer. I'll see you next time in episode 330. Goodbye.